face. I was so disappointed in myself. Okay.
Yeah. Also, someone to still 3 months.
Okay, so first of all, hello to everyone. So I'm very happy that we have another opportunity to meet here.
Yeah, thanks to Dylan, so we introduce Kubati Chick Naranso with a chick and counter to which is Mizambo Chitoya. The Anchi candidate Cheko in us here, not so Tinichi Tivando, which is another Tinichi, some can dangerous.
So what is the purpose? What is the reason or the aim for us to be meeting here? So in short, basically, is for us to learn what it is to be a good human being, for us to learn how to go towards a good side.
Yeah, on the churching, on this our Tindicachet Chong, the Tayang switching Mizambo, the Miapoche Gorilla on the Yanchi, the quad of shot it and then also page me marapta. Me any Joshua but in the Coacamaris, the Coaleo Maris. The Dosho the thing was it, Tanami Zamboji the Miapoji Chekore along there. And it and me also Mizambo, me my Jota, me pay me Marapsa Wimba, the Cachamaris.
So yeah, so here we're talking about how to be a good human being, how to have a good character. But that doesn't mean we're not saying just because we're trying to be a good human being, doesn't mean I'm saying that we're bad human beings right now, that we are unethical human beings. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah. What they carson was Kanta Carson de Zambuli Gale, me Zambo, a pe Mabushu, me Apo. I think Mama Johnson, your Tanda, you joined your payment. To so Najing as a multi or Tinji, Susarivaja, also summary at the jobs. Weird Tindo, Kuzu Jinjing the Chetana.
In this world, we have many people who we can consider to be good people, and these people can become inspirations. We can look at them and aspire and have hope to become like them.
Yeah, Kuzu is in Penga Janki, Mama Mambo Chong. Tanda Dinichene, Tendro was in Masui Chetoya. Tadi Chego is a thing so Tikon Muir the son.
We can see, looking at the history, there are many people who have come to this world and they had a mind that seek to benefit others. They had this mind, and nowadays too, and we can take them as an example and think how to emulate these examples.
Yeah, the doctors in the Dianchic me. Me mambo senges and Andracarda Yanchile cut in the Zamolegan, touching Nipa Subchimut in his own game, Mambo Jonyoris. Takanda Dindi Choning as well and Tonishimba, Tong Carson, Tangasu Yamyo there. That Dini pay on the Tangasu Katicholi and also counter to Combajimas and Casito together. Tingasu Muiris.
So we have all these good examples that we can see in the world, of people that came to this world. And from another side, we have also bad examples that we can see. Be either people that are killing people or any work that is not beneficial, any work that you can say that it's in the bad side. So if we look at the people that existed in this world, we can compare and we can analyze which sides do we want to develop ourselves. Yeah, which side do we want to go.
The Tian Carson was a chick, the Yahweh totally, I'm a switching any Basunchina, Cosona, Toya, Susali, Anchi, Reva Menjo di Maimba, Mini Ranjin and Nibasia, the Switching, Ranjing, Suso, Nibadi, Combe Tanto Matusi, Trimato, Ranjing was a chick to Mason, Sama, Nibasin and Rapigate, Chipashi, such Paris.
And if we look at these good examples that we can see in humanity that have appeared, we shouldn't feel like we're hopeless to emulate these good examples, because in our nature as human beings, we all have the not only the right but also the capacity, the potential to accomplish whatever other human being has accomplished in the past.
Yeah. That indeed colons in the society, the Yawicha, Levicha, Yajitang, Chetia, Tachi Karakarchia Yore, Susa Karchia Yore, Tachi indeed Kachat and Reni, Tiring also Lobsente, and then you can't live to sit.
So today our lesson is going to go into the direction of how can we develop these good intentions, these good minds to achieve this.
Yeah. Otindi kachate shebi kawle dinala ya tandan di kapti musi shete tanan jinga chudang chu shenge jina kande chene kolon kar ki gore ko tangbo karre ke musi ma shebi kawle kande she gore tinding de she japsha yores tayina ya tingar su chu jamba mayimba masigi susu nyiri sui tone pa ne pe ja yunjo shires.
So here in this section of the book, we're going to arrive at a section of how should the person that is explaining the Dharma teacher, think? Yeah, how should he think? What motivation should he have? But we can also expand this to other works, other activities that we engage in life.
Yeah. Tena tangbo dengan di nang lai kare se tiri di kolab sen nang lai ya kare yo ba di chikse te dam re ne ta ma so chi ni re tsui chone so so le ka kan di chile na te le na pa ani kan di sablo tang cho yo tang e kare yo re se ti kan ma ba ni ba di chi se.
So first I'm going to explain straight directly what is written here in the text, and then I'm also going to try to connect this to other kinds of activities or jobs that that we can do.
Tanda nga so ndi she de te zo tanda nga so Lam-Rim gen ke chi she wo re sirwa te yang Lam-Rim gen di de sin tanda di ta na kap dik lob sin sin da chapter 3 na le ya ko ga ya ani tanda kong ta ya long ta ya ka de dang sha re da lo bo yin ni zo na ya ya ga sen di long shi ta sha ya.
Yeah, so here in this section, Lama Tsongkhapa is going to start with a quotation by Vasubandhu from the Treasury of Knowledge.
Yeah. Dino le karashi yorsena. Ten dele kapti de chu shenge ji nasi. Nyomo chemme tachi samlo na le nyomo da mandi ko gres. Ten nyomo da mandi atsa maze kandaji ko ma shebi kawle yana. Ta jing do dang de zo donda ma shebi kawle ya. Yang da pa shi chuma chushin she go ma to lokshi jap chobu mares.
So here straight what the way that Vasubandhu explains the how should the person who's explaining the Dharma behave. So while you're giving the Dharma, you shouldn't have a negative emotion first, and also exactly according to how the sutras, how the teachings of the Buddha explain, you should explain exactly like this. So in the sense that you should know what you're talking about. That's the second important thing.
Ta de kable yang chi kare wan ta chi yang chi pa mi chi le pa ne tin di shebi kable so so tin ni chi nye ba se shwa chi so so chi ti rayando tin di kon ki chog mares.
And also to expand a little bit more, also he says that when you're teaching, you shouldn't do this. You shouldn't be contaminated your motivation by wanting either money or gifts or material offerings.
Yeah. Chiche tani ba de yang kare yon. Chi ane tindi shebi kable yang. Ta chinge tindi she shana mi mombo singa le kishep chigris. So le chu. And
also you don't need, it's not good for you to have the thoughts that, oh, because I'm engaging in this activity, other people are going to be respectful to me, other people are going to consider me consider me in a higher way.
Then somebody tamada chikala zana yang jigding kachan ro she tini chun ro she tini chun pe nyanda chum the kerachum chasaris. And
also the third thought that we shouldn't have, that is not good to have, is expecting fame. Expecting, oh, if I do this, then I'm going to be well known, I'm going to have this good reputation.
Yeah,
and the thing here is that if these thoughts occur to you, then this is going to harm yourself and also going to harm the people listening.
And this was so any power do nyam do.
And here's the way that the text explains the fact that this is going to harm you. He explains using the word that it's going to decrease your merits. And what does it mean to decrease your merits? What does it mean, merits? First, merits is related to your thoughts, the way you think in the positive side. So whatever thoughts you have to the positive side. And more specifically, it's related to how much energy, how much power you have in the positive side, and how much power you have to think in a good way.
Yeah, kanta tantele yang chik sonam se chik chana chusa kashi janya chik sonam se adale yang nang bi jong na be ki chum sigres sonam se adale chitang ni ta chik so ni se gre sonam ge so da ishik so se so ni se kashi gre.
Maybe some of you have already heard this word merit, which is very much used in Buddhism and very, very popular. And usually merit is divided into two categories, two accumulations, as they say. So it's the accumulation of merits and also the accumulation of wisdom.
Tati kare seonde pen ta pe si jana maso chi so se pon si salo dana maso chi kala ya po sa go re ane namji chi zui na chi yo sa go re se ti so kar jana maso chi se pon so chi kan to te ya po cha te le ya chi se pon le ya dom do ni ban do le ya shi ti namji ma so wi tai chang ma ha ko ye te res o te pen pe tin do chi.
And also one example that is related to this, how the merits work, for example, when we, to work with our body, to have a healthy body and to be able to do anything with our body, we need to have energy. And this energy comes about from the food we eat, the water we drink. So in the same way, this works.
Exercise che kono se bo jangder kono tanya le so zipo nyerbo che tene ya nyerbo che tsamaimba tene kotele ya top che nyerbo che and flexible che peki nyemo tsaso tene che go da kare tene stretch
stretching
o te chikche ti yobe kang le ya ti jile shini ta chik so shane muscle suli ya chik top che ya jangder ni pa tanya do ti karasena nga su sipo le top diar ta tenja o pe tenashi ta nga su samlo su ni inner sura o ti kalishi ya ji tang to rese ta sunam se ati kolen de she jang ti gang she ko rese.
Yeah, so the way of understanding the merits is also related to, for example, exercise. When we exercise our body, so we do all these exercises, we stretch, and as a result of these practices, then we get the result of having a flexible body, having more strength in your body for you. It's the energy, a power that you can use later. So in the same way, there are these ways of thinking that if you habituate yourself with these ways of thinking, then you accumulate more energy, more power to engage in these actions later. And these are called merits. This energy, this power that you accumulate is merits.
Re ta tindewa ngaso samlo ane chik sim ga nepapti ane tiang ta yaji tang se or ta te top chimu so ya de ane choni yongres yana pe ane kachikar ta negative se or na ta chik samlo dewi chole yang te ya top che ta chik yana samlo yawi cho.
And then from the side that we can develop our mind, where we can develop this energy, this power, there's always two sides. So there's going to be the positive side and the negative side.
Yeah. Ta kantar khuni ga tan jindan dores kati chota yaji tangdane shambad ma durin dore.
And these two, they're in an eternal competition in our mind. So which means that if one starts to rise, the other one starts to fall. If one starts to fall, the other one starts to rise.
Yeah.
In a similar way.
Ta nga chu doba khare nga chu chik mui khare jong ta nga chu chik samlo ina dewi chota tes ma ko gi nibat ma nyam chiga ani yawi chota kasi to ya kompetent.
And what's our desire, what's our goal? Of course, to decrease the negative energy, the negative power, and increase the positive potential.
Ta di kacha de shiyong de ta tele ya ani chik samlo yawi cho ya ji tang tele ya ani ji nambi shong no ya tabji cha de shira gu cha si de shini ja res.
Tabda shiravni.
Tabda shiravni inner strength.
And then inside the Buddhist treatises, the Buddhist texts, they divide also in two ways that we can use to develop this inner strength, this inner power in the positive side. And then they talk about the method, and they talk about the wisdom. These two things, method and wisdom.
Tada di tabji chokse shebe kable ya, di nong le kare yori se, tabji chokse de kare, tabse de kare se. Tadi yongde namji nga su yung chaka ta tsangma chi. Yama namba tsangma koya re ta chi. Ani chanchi sims gomgo re, chamba gomro, ninshi gomgo re se. Di tso giri de tabji chokse de kachi shigiri se.
And what does it mean, the method? What is this side of the method? This method is going to be something that's very popular among the Buddhist community. It's going to be, for example, bodhicitta, or the mind of enlightenment, compassion, love. All these things related to this, these are what's called method. And also, for example, expanding our mind in benefiting others. So the mind that wants to benefit others in an expansive way.
Yeah. Taina de chigbo nga so samlo ya chigbo chigana chig pena kalon pe mel pento ya pento so kalon tsama juna de tsama mel pento tore sena de to mares ta de le yor baj ko cargo reso shira guchati ta kandre chene ko pento tong ya ko chaje de demba ko rembe chinto ko
but can we say that it's enough for us to have even if it's a very pure mind, oh, I really want to help other people, I really have this mind that I really want to do everything for other people. Is it enough to have this mind? No, it's not enough. And that's why there is another category. That's why there is the accumulation of wisdom, because this wisdom is going to think about, is going to analyze, how can I help this person? How can I help people? How can I accomplish what I decided to do in this other side?
Yeah, that didn't change. That but the daughter by woman juba. Oh, Dino the Carson Rizena, could pay there. Non be job was been a judge. And a chang on the judge, Jade, Coron Perni, and the Jansu Pachola Legona, and Coron Chopani. Shopanila Deni, and the Jamsu Pasole Kures. That day, Shade, Tanga Sutan and Coin on the Yodinki Mitiche, Jamsu to Quad Okashur. Tan Coin in a patrol gonna Coani Pagegona Cargores. Soon to the Jag Shopado.
And there is a metaphor on the book Introduction to the Middle Way of Chandrakirti, where he says it's like there is a bird, and this bird wants to cross the ocean. And for this bird to cross the ocean, he needs two wings. One of the wings is the method, this side. The other wing is the side of wisdom, the accumulation of wisdom. And then in this example, we are the bird, and the ocean is cyclic existence, or the suffering of cyclic existence.
Yeah, counter carres on the Tanta Dindi Samlo Yawichok, Segurata Tabguchok. Karina Yabu, she or consume Tinium, the shirap the Nikatis on the Retona, Tamani to Grace.
And what does this mean? It means that as much as we develop our good motivation, this side, compassion, love, etc., this much we also need to give some attention to our wisdom, to use both of them to fly.
Takase Kolon Sama, Kolon Yabo Dindijimena, Shirap chat Shichumbu Yongajina, Tamaso Langa Kandrotaki. Choshamba negative, sure. You told Korong Shiro Pejutan, some teacher down
also, if we have a very strong wing of wisdom, but we don't have the good motivation developed inside us, then it doesn't matter whatever we decide to do with this wisdom, we're going to end up using it for the negative way, in a bad way.
No, the challenge that thing bed that you maybe not to show you to show you now. The cool someone captured on Saturday. Nor Joseph when I counted it, me mambo say at me mambo that sounding in your mambo city, mambo sticker. Cosole and share which are the basic chimney.
And we have examples in this world of people who are actually very smart, very intelligent, and we can say they have wisdom, but they don't have developed this compassion and this side. And so they end up finding very elaborate methods of harming other people, or of killing, or of taking advantage of people. Yeah.
야, 단도다는 가서 간단한 디디 아니 주적 삼랑세나다 추신기신나 가르쳐 거르세 디까지 들어와. 다 대마이 명아수의 수수의 니리 음세나래. 다 지나바 가시 그게 요초그래 대나지게 양치 다치 소소 레카 칼레지 레카 간리지 간레 레카 지우야. 미치리 양치 제와치 가지 시비 걸래. 단대기 강은 요자는 신게 아니 견드서 면조식 디치고
And also, in short, analyzing not only from the side of the Dharma or spirituality, but also from another activities in life, we can say teacher or any other kinds of job. We can also consider that anytime we are in relationship, we are connecting to someone else, we can also apply these qualities, these things that we're looking here.
Yeah. Yeah, ina tangasu teskale karyorisen ni mari regule kanu chi kablena. Tachi ngoni gepege. Hasa namdak be yakole kache tosia de kakoyores. Pena la chanjinen gena. Pena jungle kan chi wana jungle ka de. Ta soso ni ma ta ti so zoya shi. Chi yana tange ji le kale. Chi yapo ji la kache. Tange de pandro itse ji la. Ta desert de ngoni chana ndigo marise.
And it's hard for us to say that. It's hard for us to have a very pure mind thinking about benefiting others during our day-to-day life, during our day-to-day work. For example, there are many examples you can think, like in a government work or government job or anywhere, where many times we're thinking about getting our salary, getting our money, and we're just wasting our time a bit in the job. And if there's someone looking at us, if there's like a manager looking at us, then we work very hard. But if there's no manager, we just waste our time. It's just, who cares?
Yeah, that is almost a lady or a tate carresena. The money in a solo canoya posiona. She shone in a tilly big shone deal me mambozilia, the shung to John Leone. Shown the big shung me mambozil pento question. The only susu tilia casis chetana, meeting mambozilla pento. You need to cut this also meet men and royal dana, sunamsa sauro kotoma.
This kind of actions, they come very naturally to us. But if we are to have a good motivation, if we give more attention to our motivation, we can think that through working, the government is related to many people. The government takes care of many people and actually benefits people in some way. And if we're able to put some interest in the job and do it properly, we might not directly benefit someone, but indirectly we end up being beneficial to society.
Yeah, what did do? That didn't know in a perna tachi pendo jana. Your choices in the pejana. Choices in the Samadana, tachi Matsu Tanta Shungze, the Mimangze, the Mit Penesuso Mimang the Vagina. Matsuli Juning also a pepento chumbo chadea, than a penso chichana. Pen number Samadella, the Valea, the Manche Namtrino Lego. Namtrida Tindina Lebra. Namdina lay at the one each and was so some yabo on it. Namdina Yonki Mitsama, Susan Pento Chimichade. Namdin Yam the Susotinian by Yon Cup can druba Casiona. Yam de Mimombo made Tajani Yanyam the Yosir Namdi Chicken. It's some Susan and one each and the packet which are less. That thing in Tishi.
That's it. Namdri you can put a mini guy.
Yeah.
Okay, so now to give an example, for example, let's say when you're coming in an airplane, sometimes there are 100, 200, 300 people inside the airplane. And all of these people inside the airplane, we can be very grateful towards these people. And then I asked him why, and he said, "I'm going to explain. Wait." So that's
the Karchen is it. Managing a consul. Musi Jorona patient rotate, Joran Langan Tindi, in the Kalan rotate, Tindi Maris, in a genital pain boyers.
So they're not benefiting you directly. They're not coming to you and giving you money. They're not coming to you and feeding you. But indirectly, they're benefiting you.
Kasiti nalo yonke roba sumena chunde letu mares.
Det du gimare.
Letu mares.
Letu gimare.
Letu mare namti nana chora chikpoji namta chora chikpicheti na yora chik mares.
If you don't have this people inside the airplane, these 200 people inside the airplane, you cannot arrive. Yeah, you cannot arrive in your destination.
Te 가르쳐는 상암의 직직을 로바치야. te 가르쳐 그래. 저런게 고선을 파편 토요래서. 가르쳐서는 그 상암의 여와들 다 고선 남들도 영어로 치고 그래. 때 맨날 그 미치기체도 남들이 다 치고 말아.
Because how do we get a plane? We can only get a plane if 200 people decide to get a plane. If we decide by ourselves that we want to go somewhere, we cannot get a plane. There's no plane for just one person.
어때요? 다 강타 디 가르던 거는 아주 처음에 찍을 찍대인 봐. 찍을 된대요. 다른 것도 나 벤선서 때 많이 배워서 좀 디강의 내대야 처음에 찍을 된대요.
This means that we all depend on each other. We all rely on each other indirectly. Yeah.
그래서 갑자기당 윤이 가리나 받은데 저기라. 베나단다 디 사차 디강의 디들이 마보시오래. 합디 같다는데 무슨 진짜 민족도 싫어. 이나 사무실 사포당에 배 처음에 찍찍네 벤도.
It can be indirectly or directly. For example, here in McLeodganj or in this village or in your village, there are many people, and we can look at people. You can think I'm not actually so related to these people. There's no relation like. But if you think more detail, a little bit more deeply, then you can see actually there is relation towards, there's a lot of relation towards most everyone.
벤소 찍버스잖아. 배 준지시. 배나. 가서 저런에 짐지 찍으면 저런데와 미치 데이터 그래서는 소한 데이터 말했어.
For example, you can think in one example. If you didn't have any neighbors, let's say you don't have any neighbors, you're alone by yourself here in one place. There's nobody. Can you stay in this place? You cannot.
어디서 상황 와서 준니. 내가 저거도 다들 가르쳐는 와서 가르 레칸도 가르치는 준니 미모보지를 펜토고 요 삼삼고 그런 기토나 당원이 다치 ранжинг 소설내가 가르치나 군대와 다 요리스.
And we can have the thought, for example, when we're doing our job or when we're doing any activity, we can have the thought to increase our motivation. How many people we are indirectly benefiting, or we are indirectly influencing.
Yeah, then the two 그런 딘디 이제 소설을 지내가 가르치는 소설 그런 상 말아지 추토야로 딘디 같이 뭐 그런 라차는 라차 그런 슬로커 테마임 야나게 딜레가 지나 소설지 뭐지 그지 그것도 세셔 기접지야 야나가 깨라치 미차 다이나야 딘디 그런 매니 제고야 배기 치무차 그래서 딘디 그런 매나 백 소소단
그런
this mena taki gonna soso inner strength yaji trial pmc pendo.
And there's a lot of benefit if we don't have these motivations seeking only for example for money or for respect or for fame, only these motivations. Of course we get the salary, we can get the salary, of course, but if we try to have also more extensive, we give more attention to our motivation, to our intention, and find more meaning also in the work, then this, what we say about the merits. So then this inner strength in your mind starts, gets fed. So it becomes better, stronger.
타이나 가서 가르치는 가설에 가르고 그래서나 던지기 취재는 지가래래. 집에 본도 그 돈다이라이가 같이 지금에나 집에 오래샤 집에 집이 보래샤 그 집들로야 보고 있잖아. 둘이야 간이 보시나 배가 그래서 가서 대란신. 던지기 취재가 나올지 그래. 돈나가 메나마가스.
But in what naturally comes to us, what's very easy for us to think, it's what's called, maybe you have heard of the 8 worldly concerns. So it's the being attached or caring about praise. Like, for example, if someone comes to you and say, "Oh, how good of a work you did, how good you are, how beautiful you are," we naturally, it's very easy for us to like this and to aspire, strive for this.
타이나 원이 자 남지 빼치리야 소설원이 샤상게 소설원이 닝지 지와 연계시나 티초를 갖이나 쫓배 약본도 있더라고 말이지 좀 만지가 돼 그래는 주딘 지금부터다 대세운데 땀 님보다 요 말되나 돈다 원이지 더 코그 쪽으로 하신원이 이까지 시오르
But if we think actually the people that love us the most, that really wants to benefit us the most, they're not going to be always just praising us or just saying how good you are, etc. They many times
chole ching chukumenduda chole chundenduda chende yaji tangkodu de chol kache shetane de chukumendu le kache tang chukumendu
they're going to say, oh, what you're doing is not okay, or what you have said here is not okay. If they see something, they're going to feel comfortable to say this.
ya ta counter karetsena nga chö chik mi ranjin de kare yoresena chusen na sa che de do ba yomar so so na lo de chik pe kala so so le chi game song so so song chup che pe ti tsama shalo le de do ba yomar mi chi de lamna ka mari
what naturally comes to us, what usually comes more easily to us, we don't like so much to be transparent. We don't like to show so much, but outside our flaws.
Yeah. Tanto dana tiri nga sun tini ma shi de karre songde chik so so le ka karan ro shi kang zum gu yana de chik kantar kan sama de so so tin ji ji kang ya chik mele chik so so chik sama me kanto de mi ma bo shi le pen to to ya tambo ale du ma tan tambo mono mi na ja tini chik ko le kan ro to so chik go ya di kon de shi ja wores.
So first, in brief here, it's talking about when you engage in an activity or in a job or when you're doing things, it's very beneficial if you can set an intention, if you can give some attention to what's your motivation, being not only for myself, but also trying to expand this more to other people. Okay.
Yeah. 이 건너데 기타나 되게 강례시나 참아 찍라 찍템바 찍 무당 양나 우스 펜토 양나 준이 찍찍배 제대요 진딩 상로 가세 마스 당토나 당가 저게 남지 다용자가 아니 잠바다 지바 공거리 되게 침브리세야티 잠바다 지바 수수 고미야 당 고직사레세
그래
수수 잠시 고미야 근데 수수 다가나 니마티레니 진딩 상로 다양 고직나 잠바다 지와 소소의 냠레치에 드리는 고츠긴 거래스. 고츠 드리는 소소의 잠시 냠레치에 지고래스. 잠바다 지와.
so 그런 리라치나.
여기 미 망보실이야 소소 그런 상마키 디 강을 되게 되시gel때 미츠 무슨마 상마 찌레 찍템바. 찌레 무단 준이 야노 무스 펜토 야노 준 딘디위 양데 랑싱기 미 샴바 상마 소소를 타니 보배 지와 연교 참.
So if we approach our job or whatever activity we do in life, if we can also first think about how everything is dependent on each other. So because of this, because there are so many relations, so many connections in human relationships or in life, anything that we do can influence many people. So it's possible for us through our activities to end up influencing a great amount of people. And if we're able to get used to, before doing an activity, to think about how we're benefiting other people and trying to do this itself makes your compassion and your love increase. It develops your love and compassion. And this itself is the practice of compassion, is the meditation in compassion, the meditation on love.
Yeah, the Jambata Siva Gomsia, the Ginsenta, the so that the Ganshiva Nashinka, the chick Pena Penson, the Ganglia, Chimsil Peja, and the Namjin under Trin under Basan under Karina to Sama. Or this would Sama your Ginseng Malia, Chingandro Toya, the Pento Pats Chichilia, only Chile chicken there. This would Ginseng or Ripper, could Ginseng Samatando. Tinting on all that money, it Sama Chichilla Pento Chimandua, one is some. Ranjing susu pe tela siwata tanya renyare to res. Tika Jimson the dembi chamba the ninji comtores.
And we can it's all based on reasonings, it's all based on logic. We can use these reasons, for example, if we're going to in a bus or in an airplane or whatever. If we think about how we are dependent on others and how they benefit us in very indirect ways. Yeah, very indirect. But if you think how they benefit others, then it can start to come the thought, oh, people really benefit me. Like I'm really grateful to other people. Yeah.
Oh, dindi gani, that's also
and so I'm really grateful to other people, and because of this, you become closer to people. That helps your love and compassion.
Oh, dindi tambo so chungsa chi gani shi tsai dindi chini ya gomni do ya shikre ma do. Ani nga ta chamba da ni ji gom ke se tiri tagara gom ke se ege ji ta chik so son kambari na de. Ne mu tsamne katse nge chamba ni ji gom ke se ke jab de na pe to ngo mare se. Tanda tendo ko step ko jinsen da tambo chungsa ni ya. Dindi chini samlo de ya ji ta ya. Tambo jinsen tembe gani tesi ya ji te rinpe kombe chegi tini samlo tongda na chiri rogri mato kaptu yi chela ngay chamba gomki nichi gomki inse tsamse kai ti tata hingu marisi.
And the only way for us to develop our love and compassion is to use this to go from these small things, using these reasons and thinking and these reasons, this logic, and going step by step developing our love and compassion. We cannot just sit down and decide to meditate on compassion and love for our Tsering.
Yeah, this is Rembo Tango and Yanachi Kambaji, such as Shambashi and running in Bargomgo, the Dimar Susu, Nimari, Suino.
Yeah, and also that you feel like you need to go to an isolated place and sit down and really meditate for a very long time. Actually, a good way to practice is in everyday life, thinking and seeing and using all these moments to practice.
So Nimari Chileka Chetangri, Chikarina, Yana Kangaji Tenaya, take Karina, Kanga the Kanga Ramatani, Kanga Chotamba and Tadena, Kanga the Shirichitu. Tati Chosambachini, Tatona, Kanga the Soso Troll Sunjaya.
For example, also, using our everyday life in order to practice our human relationships, and also, for example, when we meet with problems. Every time we meet with a problem, if we look just from the side of the problem, if we cannot think from other sides, then we meditate on the problem and the problem grows bigger and bigger and bigger. But if we are able to look from a different perspective at the problem, then this problem can actually become your friend. It can actually be useful for something.
Tanto dana chi kangaji chesona, kangaji chona, tini soso lobjong le yashi samatang tona.
So in brief, this is using the problems as a lesson, seeing the problems as a lesson.
Yeah. Oh, Tinder, which also some touchy Nimari, Pena, that pens on the Jana. Immediately, took the Chachilana, Chash. That it called Lave, the teaching mother Layama, Tombo Chilla, Jonomaga, Chungre, Korang teaching mother Malava, Laviamare. In a that in his Samlana Karata, Co, Tilago, Jimsakare, Kungal, Nana, Cheris, and Tangarangati Gania, Jimse Mabotang, Nembe Mabojab, Jota Mabochiondi. Peggy Soso Gata Maga, Samlo the Chir. Tatagi also gone to shake up there. So any inner strength, negative shot, she chertangirte. I could lave could see chick the lava taran red in a tigon, so maybe.
So for example, one thing that can happen to us, for example, let's say someone came to you and said something that you really don't like, really said something you don't like. Then of course there's the feeling of not liking what this person said. But a habit that we have, a thing that we can do sometimes is after this has happened, we start to think, oh, why this person say this to me? And we start to think reasonings and we start to fit this. We start to think about, oh, this person shouldn't have said this to me. It's not fair that this person said this. And you think about their faults and etc. Many thoughts can come in. And this is what we were saying before about how your inner strength, what's getting stronger inside you. So when you think like this, then the negative side is getting stronger and stronger with each reason, each habituation, each thought that you provide in the negative side.
Yeah, that need to live couple, yeah. samsang also Jimmy Chigdi social non to chemena and meet each non to cheshas social mangosh. That's how much cartangore. Namji Jones on the ship Japton, touching young members cigarettes and all touch Corona Ninja Gongores. Ninja Gongore Laundi, the Korongati ni netan sama mashi barishas. And the Korean touching Yata Jong Chul and the shit things about question the Korean Maribi on Grace and that in the manner account that Korangi don't sama the Tom and was some true. Tiwanga Koranga Lavresum, Koranga Mashi Baresum, some Saulogy Cortona. Korajinga Koshu, Kotiki, nature which are mare.
From one side, in one example, when someone says something that you don't like, sometimes it happens that the person says that you made a mistake, but you didn't make this mistake, or the person says you have a mistake, but you don't have this mistake. And then what it said in the Buddhist text is that it's recommended for us to have compassion towards this person, because in thinking that this person doesn't know about your actual situation. And if we use Buddhist terms, we think that because of ignorance, so under the power of this ignorance, this person has said these things. And if we think more in this direction, then we are not all the time feeding the anger, feeding the dislike.
Yeah, that the counter ni kalorta. Ko junganale ya tensa de shejamna ta tunda karshi horizona. To kona ya ramen, kona ya rame batinishi. Kora rama yonke kora netun sama kora ha congregation ke tsain lagu mares. Ko rama ya kararon kora ya ta kanshi na shi nyomanda ani mari patatu suwe kora ya. There's influence show. Tia wanga kol chongshare laude.
If you speak in a more deep way, according to the Buddhist text, the Buddhist knowledge, it said that what the action of this person, the words of this person has no independence at all, has no power to choose, because this person is under the influence. It's such a strong influence of this ignorance that the person ends up without any involuntarily saying these words. So
yeah, tendo page na pena ngaso samsam pe so control shichum shu sai kablia. Ai chik ram me pa so mil la pa chap shen do yana sit chang lap shen de shiren do. Ta teng oni chana o control do pa me acha. Jil saulo tangde ta chingting mando samsam rish so le gyoba chigdo. Ta yana control kablia so rama yo mar. Control de shicheta. Tendo o control rangli ya e kange do madu ke sama khore samsam tatona ani mitela long na ide ngasiyo.
For example, something that we can see is when we get very mad, when we get very angry, it can happen that we either physically assault someone, we can punch someone, or we can just say a bad thing, we can criticize the person. And many times it happens that after the anger has gone away, we are relaxed, and then we're sitting down and we think, oh, why have I done this? I mean, that's not okay. And we have regret for this action. But at the moment of anger, we have no choice. We're not choosing what to do. So that's the meaning of having no independence. And if we're able to look at the anger as the agent of the action, like the anger saying the bad words, then we're not going to be, for example, if someone is saying these things out of anger, we're not going to be the object of our dislike. It's not going to be the person itself. It's going to be the anger. It's going to be the anger itself, not the person, because the person has no choice but to say these things.
So mamboji control shichum sanyo. Ta control shichum sanyo susul rawa do the midu. Control the shichum the susul rawa mea yoda minduzion de. The baje susul rawa meva de baje hakuri. Mati ginseng the tang shambaji susul control sani chilamnaya. Oh, they come the color rawa meva de masungunzi toku.
Most of us, we have the experience of having having had this powerful anger. It's rare to find someone that never had this experience of being angry. And we can analyze in ourselves when we had this strong emotion, this strong anger. Did we have could we choose our actions? Were we in control of our mind, of our actions? And if we can identify this not having this freedom, then we can also apply this to other people. Then we can see people in this anger, and we can identify that they actually have no power of choice during these moments.
Yeah, that pension some zero, not so control pager. That they might be not so chick some low, the chick some low yai choler pay maboyore, solo to Niambacho, the control chibo mare, the Tagarin dancing. Tayan Chatos and the Tangasul Bear Maboyro. The Tsama Tangaso Tatang, Shampaji Kani Taya, Susu Kande, Tapshichaitu. The Jung so now Yonchini Korean, the Yorite Maina Susuri Padani, Kandichin teaching. Tatang Joatan to the big teacher. No, that didn't away. No, that counter, Ben the Soso Chijamba Chatos, young some decim. Ani tena jenga pe touch samlo mamboyora to sambalaya tatan shambaji kani ko chore tanya tapshi kartu odi gang so samla tantona tade nyamlen sena teres nyamlen sena teni gom sena ter odi ngazo gom se inse tabi gang shiana shiri.
And also, here we're talking about anger. That's the example we're using, where we can also expand this to many other things. Also from the good sides, the good thoughts, the good emotions, also from the bad emotions, for example, competitiveness, jealousy, and etc. So if we're analyzing and thinking, trying to look from a different perspective towards these negative emotions, towards these things, this is practice. This is what it means to practice. It doesn't mean just sitting down to meditate. If you're thinking about these things and changing your attitude, your perspective, that's practice.
That tsama nga so chik so be jimjing ro che ya bo sauna dana ta tsama de pa yona nga se so de zawa chim shi sum so zawa che chang ni ta ma de pa tsama de ne ngo ba da so shu pe ki chamo mena rabi gane ma so ha ko to gres. Tadina, Taki Kundosaya, Chato Jea, and Resim, the Sama Yonsa, Kandichi Yondosade. So the Sawa Cheta, Nijamba the Durna, Shamba the Suso position, Chipagon Shato Marta, Chipajikon, Lever Chipagon Shamatu.
And also in another way of explaining how this negative emotions can come about. All these negative emotions, be it anger or jealousy or competitiveness and etc., all of them come from considering yourself to be way too precious, considering yourself to be way too important. For example, if you compare yourself to other people, it's very hard to put exactly at the same position, exactly the same importance in your life.
Yeah, so michi and so go so message kiko yare so ya ani chotabli am pasunche go da yimbache so in chotab samba lutani se kachamaris ta ina ya ngoni ni tsal sabla dana ni sama chikaso rambalis ma so chigang le yore ma to kashi da ramban thoya chi da kashi ma wa se cheyoma ta ina ngata samla dana so to sha.
Of course, in our life, we need to take care of ourselves. We need to support our life. We need to survive. We need to provide for ourselves. Of course, this is we don't need to talk about this. But if we analyze the actual situation of things, how things actually exist, we see that human beings, there's no reason. Human beings, they are they're the same in a way.
Yeah.
But the way that we perceive it, it's us being above it.
Kashi mi kashi de rangin korang we ni tselme kashi de yawa jita mi kashi diga zia de te sawan yo mar ko equal ze sho
Yeah, what doesn't exist at all is, for example, someone naturally, by his nature, the nature of this person being better than the other, worse.
This 따당디 직바지 요타나 다디 카르펜토레즈는 소소직 난디가 소치 소소래 년년나 차세 바이스 차시와 대면조 샴발의 시오지만 통종의 만배就是见面就다이나 직 미즈보가 접차 지보다 아니 지 시행 거 내법도 좀 라용 저래 이거는 너무 가래
And what's the benefit of the jikpa?
jikpa tatang tatana, soso chakdang deilo de nyore soso chokle ya.
And if we're able to have this view of equality, of being the sameness of human beings, then we can naturally decreases our attachment to the people close to us. It also, we're not going to look down on other people. And yeah, and these are the benefits. It doesn't mean that we are all the same in terms, for example, of our education, of our body is the same, not in this way.
Yeah, that is something ma, so the so tanto denange kare shoyasena so chi so zongne danje ni ka so chi go yor so da ku che da kashi ge yo chore kashi chasa ba yo chore ta kantar kare chi so be 이창마디 소소 집을 잠만 방에래 같이 지 하나 간증의 미지가 펜도와 진지 그놈식 제도나 이 갈펜도버에서 내가 갈래는 소소 생을 건강이 오는도야 소소 집부터 당보샤고가 나 역시 장고 삼는 너의 오면시 버려.
So in brief, what I want to say is that we need to provide for ourselves. We need to take care of ourselves. We need to take care of this life. But when taking care of this life, if we don't think just about ourselves, we don't think so much more of ourselves than other people. If we get used to thinking more about other people and developing this good motivation, then there's a lot of benefit. Then our inner problems they're going to decrease and pacify.
다스 쇼션에 살아다는 가서 단대의 내범르시 소소야 아니 담보 미리야께 다 기와 강래야 다 지금 난주원이 다 지금 밀리세 자치 모임듯이 배망보여 이 자치 모임 단주 밀리는 뭐지 단주 돈 친구세지도 아니 단주 니까지 되니 강래시 배망보여 그래 나대 많이 받대 파장네 지릭 상가 강에 살아다는 당번 보이지한 선로 중원에 당보알에 갈래 망보시 연습해서 그랬다래 어서 뭐 찾으면 야고 쳐야래 이 망보시 빠리는 것을 해야 돼 중국도 또 근데 이게 중앙에 가서 단단히 차도 빼 그래서 거기야 버려서 단단히 차야 돼 가르치 서서 집을 채되나 딘디 찬노 정색깔에 가보시는 전에 담아들 미치게 된다는지 정정 처음 들었었어. 대상을 당하나.
And if you can also think about our situation in this life, about our condition, we are born as human beings. So we were born as human beings, and in Buddhism, there's a lot of explanations of why this life as a human being is extremely valuable, very hard to find, extremely hard to find, and very valuable. And not only from the Buddhist side, if you look at science, how many conditions are necessary for a human body to come about, how many things need to be exactly right, and how magical, how impressive it is that this has come about, So if we think about after all these conditions come to place, after all this magic, this miracle happens, and we become a human being, and we think, for what do we become a human being? For what do we live with this special body? Just for ourselves, just for myself to be happy, or for myself to be benefited. Then we can compare if we can.
Yeah. 최선다 미치게 채던 아주 딘디 상노 갈래 가보면 다만 미치게 돈도 좀 그리 쳐서는 실에 쳐지면 와서 사팅원이 미 칼라 컨셉션 펜도 미모고시 펜도 당원이 띵원이 자치시 탐이 좀 레디야
So we can think that it's not very useful, it's not very meaningful if all these things come together only to accomplish the purpose, only to accomplish the goals of one person. And then we can see how using all these good conditions to accomplish the purpose of more and more other sentient beings is a better choice.
Yeah, Chochiniang Ripando Sabatana Chick Gonzai Chokati Chikarson Yore Michi the Kichigreta, mi Mombosh Kichigris, the Chivarita, Gonzai the Kabinati Sungur. Chuba Kichigreve, Shamba Changalitipa, mi Mombosh.
There is something that usually His Holiness says many times. He says, if you think, is one person more important, or is countless persons, or is many people more important?
Yeah. Theonita, Tindi, Tating, Asul Lamna Mich Chikacheshina, and that Michil Pentona Yaser, the Joani Bader. Michil Pentona Yagu, mi Mombosh Pentona Yaser.
And we can think, is it better to benefit one person? The second thing we can think, is it better to benefit one person, or is it better if we benefit many people? Yeah,
so these
are things that you can think with your reasoning. You can reason about this. So there are some questions here online. So a question from Rika, of course. So isn't good reputation necessary for a teacher so students trust him? Not fame, but good reputation.
Correct.
Reputation. Kena kasang kirang di pena di kebudang pa di Geshe di choyurebe ani di gopa chempo marebe pena gigenjigla kong la good reputation pena mission pa o kong gigen tukjare yana di samlatangna ani loktu kong la iche chegi mare ani gigen di loktu la pento che tuki mare dewa ene di ke chempo mare pena ngarang so mission pa ngarang so yapo tina di Geshe merebe. Pena di gulti, di la gulti, nang gulti jang mare ni tinge reputation tinge tatang ha kuma sonda. Ya bachish. Ina di jiktin chogin nang la yere. Pena mission pa kirang di mitu jare samna di bad reputation. Ya boina ni tenedi Geshe merebe.
Ya, tenedi Geshe merebe.
Yeah, di gunlong di ngepare pena di karang so di di jako sonotana di gunlong ngepare kirang lavsam ini di kel chimpare tene das
desivo komas
some saya
yeah
reputation kirang ngasa saya
reputation
di kondila dapamare na kirang. Sorry, I forgot the word for reputation, so we're just searching on the dictionary here. Diga shampoo mereve.
Nienda te kichimbo usete. Tati ya kita Nienda kichimbo nienda korangi nienda gandiyan chawaleka yapo mabo chitoyor nienda yana konsai chochi karson yore amano konsai chosete nienda zete ganle kochen tsani do pamenge yin sonre
tsani ni do pamenge
nienda zete goya mendo sasam kata chit mi to nga mi karsarta chim kerachi mu chaya jura tete ani telechi dine pento yo ade ngama ko ani salon kor me sonre taina ani norveji santara norbe santayo ani onzi de santare ani concentrale be ani tichiyo ani norbe prize simai
la solo Nobel prize
no di jiliana concentrale oh des geta nienda de pento singas cars de ngole ya korange pe 지금 mambo shinde na mishira to no chi mo tinchile to mikera chi micharo yonde ninda ga jini mene shempe chi de yores ti mar.
Yes, good reputation is very important, and if based on this good reputation, we can benefit other people. We can do good works. And there is His Holiness the Dalai Lama. He used to say before that he didn't consider fame or reputation, reputation to be something important. But after winning the Nobel Prize, then he said that he saw that there were actually benefit in having a good reputation, because before he wasn't so famous, but after the Nobel Prize he became so famous and people started paying so much attention to him, and then he saw that he was able to help people through this good reputation that he acquired.
Yeah, ngole korang Geshe so to na ma chen na jil chi mi mong ba shik to na chen. Odi ti che. Ta ina yang su su tangbo ni ma kunno korang gi keta sha ko sam sam. Mi ngel ta mi nga kera chimu so ko sam kunno ti ke yo ma ka che tan de di kam teres.
But if at the outset you have this motivation, this strong motivation, I'm doing this in order to get this good reputation, in order for people to think good about me, then that's not the way.
Ya nga chi mi ngi di ka che she de mi kera chimu zo che ti ngara kera chimu cha che di sam kunno kina ti ya ma res.
Yeah, so it's not good to have this motivation to have this good reputation.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if it was clear for you, but I'm going to read your second question.
Mm-hmm.
If we are all having the same value, why do many Buddhists think being female is lower and woman can't reach enlightenment? 이런 속이 진짜 직봐 이나 그게 너무 멍보 디 부모이나 멤버레
낭바
낭바 멍보 디 섬로 당기래 낭바 부디스 낭바 진짜 섬로 당기래
알레 낭바
부모디
당게레세나 타테 코니도라 거래
아니 장추위양 톱톱이 말에 생기고 톱톱이 말에
원이 되나 원이 남비 쇼원이 되나 티 나징다 담보 가정에는 원이 지시랑에 안인도 좋고 파운데이션도 제 고지 자체 디강에 탐마야 터뜨는 나를 듣고 나그 정도로나 베드가 어머니는 단다치 아니 모션을 드시베 마요
드시마 부모 있어가
야래 단다니 장주비 되가는 니라요 왔다 베 아니 직선제 공부 더야 되는 거야
뉴아
야 티 니라세 거다 갈아오래 티 펜토체요 만본데 시요 티 마도에 코디 정원이 강을 같이요 말 타이나 코니 나가 남바 인생 그 냠레 냠레 바이랑게 원이 중국에 내서 마고게 칸데레 다도 손담을 시세 그래서 티 코로네도 로컬 마치바 인생이 주던다 마신게 칸데스 만 남바 인생 남비 돈다 중국 원이 좀 친구 티 진짜 간상에 원래 그 시대들이 다나가서 로종으로 친구 지나야 타마데 좀 친구식이 되어서 예 벌써 아무 당고 좀 친구 쓰는 데나 되는 말이 다 참. All pictures
So first of all, there if someone can say that I'm a Buddhist or this, and he can explain this what you said now. It's not doesn't pervade. It's not in accordance with what the Buddhist texts explain, what Buddhist knowledge is about. But of course, there are many people who are going to say they're Buddhists, but they have no idea about what's the actual situation, and they're going to say many things. And then he explained something about the women here in Tantra, and I'm just going to clarify.
예와 자이니 그치 요 말이 직번 럼요 도통 직바 단다 지 진디 냠렌다 지 가르스레 보다 모니 모 단다 지 가르스다 지 무슨 남기나 좋아 센시티브 저 진디 거리 뱅가 냠렌다 소강리 야와 좀 되셔요 되셔요 다들이.
So for example in the Tantra, in Buddhism, in the sutra level, there's a lot of practice that acts as a foundation. And through this foundation, they all need to come to the tantric practices, the tantra knowledge. And inside the tantric knowledge, there is no distinction whatsoever of women and men. It talks about both genders. And there are many things, actually, many explanations that indicate that because of some qualities of the women, be it maybe the sensitive, the feeling, things related to the relationship between the feeling and the practice. Some explanations posit actually the female gender being better for some practices. Yeah, so according to some characteristics, right? According to some side, in some ways, they can say to have benefits. And in brief, there is no mention. You cannot say that they're lower in their capacity. So
nambi jong tar sa imba kanji la da poba ze ma jar ze mare ta jakama boyor ko so yang ri jong da ka tinji chi sujin tinji wang yang chi da dang lo ka yong sigre te chu da chu na ni shikken le asi na ti ka cha ji mare sta ina chu ma chu shi ma chu ba yang ka tinji lab ka yong sigre na ti chu ba ko ni jong chen bo zang ma tong yo mare.
And then also something that happens is, being in Tibet or in India or in other countries where Buddhism has spread, there's always a relation with the culture, the social life of the place. And then other ideas can come that are not necessarily not related to Buddhism itself or to what the text, the treatises explain.
Yeah.
And then, for example, what you said of Buddhists saying a thing, it doesn't mean that because it's a Buddhist, there is a person that knows Buddhism.
Yeah, pena boba pacha de namba ila gre. Ngazu nama chiba jana ngazu pama da penja tsanga namba ika chishi. Tangwane nangchu shinge ngazu nangla kasi yorana. Ngazu nama nangla ya. Pache benyunyu resi.
For example, in my family, for example, in Tibet, if you ask anyone, probably most people, almost everyone is going to say, I'm Buddhist. But if you count how many people know about Buddhism, then it's much, much less.
Yeah, for
example, in my family.
Yeah.
For example, my family, there's so many people in my family, but people who actually ever studied Buddhism, anything about the Dharma Buddhism, there is me, my relative, brother, and two women, two sisters and one brother that have ever studied about Buddhism. The rest never studied anything.
Yeah, that
they do go like to big lamas, big teachers. Sometimes, like for example, you can see something from His Holiness the Dalai Lama, but apart from that, they not much education about Buddhism.
Yeah. Okay.
So any other question?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yeah.
You were talking about how it's important to develop love and compassion for others and to others before you, and then through that, your personal problems will start to diminish, right? But is it possible to really have love and compassion for others if you don't love yourself first? You have to develop the love and compassion and have that for your own self before you can offer it to others, or by loving and having compassion for others, you then develop it in your own self.
이 저당가 다스 저기 나가서 처음 인제 제와 좀 책을 얘기 당거래디.
Yep.
그래서 셈 나가 이내는 공부하면서 신발 걸어서 당거래 인제 제와 기거래 얘는 당 공부하면서 수수 제와는 인제 게 아니 디치라니 신발 걸어서 얘는 신발 삼로당나 아니 랑신기 그래서 영 제와 수수 제와는 인제 영이래.
단도 소소는 가서 소소를 지와다 인지세 시도. 소소를 지와 인지세 다티 제동이 다 대상가 뒤절라 뒤까지 배면 위고다. 대 가르쳐서는 소소도 강양 민주 받아. 소소를 샤자 민주를 서로 걸다. 아직 강화를 되는데 소소도 강양 민주가 앞에 더 매주지는 되는 그 딕쇼다 나리 샤서. Teni susule magawacha, susule tieme jucha. Susul magawacha, teni tamala le chichi. Leka yuyada tabi tsama. Ani yusha, tsama kashi yang susu rangso kona chia. Susu sengi teni mabudo. Tezo karsa susule tsiwa de karsa. Ta susule nipa yuwa siyati. Ta kantar. Susule nipa kari yuwa di ngozin tokumatusi. 때문에 소소를 니바 같아요. 소소대 아니 딘디에 참마 기밥 제공계시 넘바데 동 참마 얘기하고요. 참마는 게 교실때 소소 많이 받은 니발 무슨 공도스 담보. 대무슨 터는 신이 소소리에 심심도 니바시 파워치.
Yeah, so nowadays these words and the talk on self-compassion, self-love, they're very popular. And because nowadays also there are many people, many situations where we have problems, and we tend to position ourselves as the lowest of the low, and really having no self-confidence at all, seeing ourselves in a very bad light. And this comes a lot because of not recognizing our potential, or our potential and what we can do in life, and our actual situation. So through recognizing our potential, for example, because of this, many people end up there's suicide, a lot of suicide nowadays. And if we're able to recognize our potential, our basic potential and qualities, then this can be avoided.
Yeah, taina ta tanda kurang chawatile. Ta ngoni mi shambala siwa ta ngoni shambala hasam namda roba chitongke tindri siwa yongke shina. Te katse yaji tangna sosol siwa soso ranjinge ni chi sosol siwa sena ta kante soso nalok samlo te ranjinge yaji do. Ngoni shambala tongbo siwa ta shambala shembe chitongke shina. Te kora shamba do shangna soso siwa ranjinge nyamda lego resi. Sosol siwa te.
Yes.
Okay.
And if we're able to actually practice, actually cultivate compassion and love towards other people, then naturally this is also going to benefit, is also going to increase our self-compassion, self-love.
Yeah.
Also.
Tainayo, tachi kashi soso kaya taki kondishwan, kaya njungomudu, kaya ale shamba la pe, salo tanga pasha, soso tondaya, tanga njungomudu ma dictionaries. Tindri salo tanga shina, tanga soso, tanga soso rani ranshi seshi, self-awareness, the big issue.
So, but of course, if there is a person that leave aside working to benefit and to accomplish the purpose of other beings, even towards himself, even towards his own life, he feels powerless, and he doesn't have this feeling. Then it's what becomes the most important at this time is self-awareness. And self-awareness means recognizing your basic qualities, recognizing this potential and your basic qualities as a.
Te gong take gong chu sari. Tindri gong le kable take gong le shanas. Ngasu mit sama lever chig gong yore ma. Chut mit chigana tinung chu yin tong kora yomar.
For example, as we were talking before, everyone in nature, everyone is in the same level. There is no one that is better, and no one also that is worse.
Yeah. Tiangde ngaina ngazo sablo na ta nga menjong ki tikshu de nga ri shasam. Tuni su di su randa ma te su ma tsama ani lang ya.
But then it can come to us this thought that I'm actually not as good as other people. I don't have this potential, and then we can start to not see the value in ourselves. We think that there's no value to ourselves. We're not valuable. Yeah.
Ta nambi shung na la di gang de shi jang de ta chi de shi kar je re zong de nga su ga ni tsama yi ranjin de peke tanda ni di gang ta chi da ne rig se de shi jang re. Te jaga de rig de le ni bre. Jinjir kar ta ranjin ni rig se. Ta donda kar re zong de rang ka su pe tsama me ki ta kar sa ta pe settle level sa ora settle level pe Perché rangi moni de ma ding le pam na rangi chikpa imba ma je rangi de pesama te chuni menjo moti ka she ko samlo de pe sama shibarang gang de sama pe le menjo shires de she chikres.
The way that one explanation of Buddhism talking about our nature as sentient beings. So regarding the deepest, the subtle aspects of our mind, if you go into the very subtle aspect of our mind, it's described as something completely pure, something completely free from faults, and something very, very clean.
Yeah. Ti karsen tanta ti ranshin te ngaso tachi te yaji tanga yo ngaso tachi sunto di sit deres. Te ta yaji tanga to ma to se de ngarso so la ba te karchin so ti sojong che wi sojong kan che ma che so la ba le yo res.
And this mind, this very subtle mind, that's very pure, very clean, this is explained to be the seed for us to be able to improve ourselves. And of course, if we improve ourselves or not, then it depends what we are feeding inside ourselves. Then it's in our hands. But this seed, this nature of this potential is in all of us.
Ta ti ransha tsama te yaji tanga yo long di tanda kalore kun jawa tanga yo res. Ko penjo chuni tanga menjo shi mo res. Ko yaji tanga yo res. Ta yaji tanga te shamba shi la tengu res. Tengu res on di tende se tanda tongba ni shamba la shi la ma ten kono yo ma res de shi te jag res. Te jang di tongba ni ka chi shi res. Tongba ni tongni.
Krisimli gyotanya.
Pe ransha tsama shi ro. Sem ransha tsama shi ro. Ransha tsama te kun jawa chuni tanga me na ko yaji dra yo marwa. Ko yaji tanga yo re launde kun jawa tanga yo res. Jawa tanga kar tanga ko shamba shi la teng. Shamba shi la ten de yo res. Shamba shi la ma ten kono yo res ne yo ma res onde an emptiness tomba ni ka chi te le yo res.
So and then this very pure mind, this very clean mind, it said that it's something that can transform. So it's something that can change. If it couldn't change, then we wouldn't be able to improve. But it has to change independence, relying on something else in order to change. And this is emptiness.
Mama, te jawa ko ransha shi ro. Ransha tsama shi karo. Ransha tsama te transport che yo re la ro. Te kar che shamba ji le te ne che ko res. Shamba ji le maten ba koron shamba ji le maten ne te ransha tsama de yo re se ne yo ma res. O te tomba ni se res.
So this very, very pure mind, this very subtle mind, also depends on other things. And so it's not in the nature of not depending on other things. So it's not independent. And this is
nothing is extremely independently almost.
Yeah.
Doesn't exist.
Yeah, it's established independence on other things. It's not established just on itself. It also depends on other things. Yeah, and then this non-dependence on something else, not existing is empty.
Non-dependence or non-existing?
Non-dependence, the non-dependence on something else, not existing, is emptiness. Yeah.
심버지를 맞대는 매발.
Okay.
Independent 요말에서.
Yeah. There's an independent way. It doesn't exist in an independent way. That is emptiness. 그래.
다 받지. 오케이. 다 강다 가르스나 디 랑시 짱마디다. 랑시 짱마디 아니 다 추인데 시작이나 추 단계 갔다를 때에 부다네 쇼세. 랑시 짱 릭들 니요래. 랑시게 내리 진지르 시대시대죠. 다들 계속 잡고 자라는
So and then we, according in subtle mind there in Buddhism, if you apply the conventionalities of Buddhism, then we can talk about Buddha nature. And Buddha nature is going to be divided into two types, which is the natural Buddha nature and the one that can be improved, right? The one that can be developed. But then maybe it gets a bit complicated.
동반이 그치 시그래. Yeah,
so and then in these two types, one is related to emptiness, one is emptiness, and the other one is this very clear, very pure aspect of the mind. Rangxingi de Sheningpo, di Tongpanire yang na. So emptiness is the natural Buddha nature, and this mind, very clean, pure mind, is the one that can be developed.
직산지야제 남자 개말래나 돈다 맞추 참말래 랑지 찍바요래 대수 쥐자요 톱도 찍바요래서인데 소소소소마 심바심 magwa 팅어서를 톱게.
And there's an explanation. There is something that is said in Buddhism is that that we are all from the family of the Buddha. And if you accept the idea of Buddha, if you're a Buddhist, then you can understand like this. But the meaning here is what is the meaning here? The meaning is that we all have the right, we all have the power or the potential to achieve the state of Buddha. And if you don't talk about achieving the state of Buddha, it's saying that we have power, we have the capacity of achieving things. So we shouldn't be discouraged. We should be. The idea, the purpose of this explanation is for us to be inspired because we have the capacity of achieving what we want.
Yeah. 난다가 소치 강한 저거다. 소소라지 맞게 저거다. 지금 심전도 상마 joined 베드가 samlo이나 라피네 봐. Very gross level culture. 그 내가 올때 중앙 삼성 가서 내 베드가 상마 소소 라체르는 라요마 아주 그급들이 집어대디어스. 다때 소소야 자서치도만. 디 소소리야 세와다 소소리야.
Many times if you're experiencing problems and we're having very bad thoughts and all these thoughts, we can think that all this is happening actually on a superficial level. If we go down into our nature, into subtle minds, we still have carried this power and this potential.
Yep.
I don't know if this answered your question.
Yes.
Too long.
Other question or no? Meryl?
But where does this all fit from the Lam-Rim? This class I will have to do.
So she's asking where does our class today fits into the Lam-Rim? 아니 Lam-Rim namladi detsen di liu kari bena kasi kitsin tatering Lam-Rim namladi kasi tatering kari kada gichi.
Ale tanda so de kashirta de ma so 아니 지금 안에 준비 시비 가버리나요? 시당 간지 그런 가르치고 단도는 미소서 일레가 자자 간지나.
So today we were talking in the Lam-Rim is the methods of how to explain the Dharma and then going more specifically the motivation you should have when explaining the Dharma. And in a more extensive explanation, it's about how to develop a good motivation. What is the purpose of a good motivation in whatever activity you engage in?
Yeah.
I just have a quick question. When we were talking about how to teach Dharma, you said, I think 3 of it that related to the 8 worldly concerns, not having fame, like for example, not wanting fame is one. What were the other ones?
So Andrea is asking when he was explaining about the motivation, when you're explaining the Dharma, so that you shouldn't engage me like
Okay, yeah.
I'm explaining to the people online. Geshe is asking, why are you repeating in English?
Okay.
And also to see if I understand, maybe she's
Oh,
saying
very good. Yeah.
So he was saying that we shouldn't have the motivation towards reputation, etc. But you forgot the other ones. If you can repeat.
Okay, that is right. And that so so with a chick pa chick Chushena and the Maybe so loves in Canada, so Mission Basilian. Tisha Jagoyana, Tisha Yanda Pasja to a Tashi.
So in brief, the first one is if you're going to explain to talk about the Dharma, or could be about anything else. If you're going to explain to someone, say exactly the right thing. Explain it correctly.
In a Karchi Titonda Kalawars and some son was a machine Shindochi, so chick, Kepa Yindoda, Tindichen. Go Loba Mamposhing to Shitagres in a Minyanke Mamposhing, Lobjon the Menke on the Koso, Tangoni is a Nilam Lopolitin to Grace.
And what is the meaning here also? Because many times we don't exactly know about the topic that we're going to explain, but we don't want to say that we don't know, or we want to explain to the other person. And many times the person who is listening, the person doesn't know about the topic. So the person is going to think, oh yeah, maybe that's right, what you said. But because you have this yeah, so you end up misdirecting the person because you don't want to say that you don't know.
Okay, then Tonda Nibada Takina Jere, Tanda Soso Kano, Chick, the Nyomonchin, the Mandi Basero, Yomonchi. That's him Yomonchin, Sim Yomonchin and Nona Carriere, Tanta Soso and Nibatan, the Chickry.
So the second one is having a motivation based on negative emotions. And inside this negative emotion is going to be wanting material gain.
Yeah.
Respect.
Respect. What they cheap, Tenitagi, and Tandingi Kerachi,
and fame. Yeah. So material gain, respect, and fame.
Yeah, what is it? That is so courage in the jury so taki gonna shit there. Sonoma ani yamdugres.
Why is this bad? Because then your merits are going to decrease.
That is so mayonla. Monichena Karsama Tangores Undita. Chama tapas. That is so many Timo Tamboni tes capo injuries of Chama tapas. Tamina at some chicken Jewy ransions as Alatantona. Timbomea, Susu Carina. Chicatina Yom Carina, Kunjuan to some Salatantona. The colonel, Yama than the colonels, Chonry to Chris.
And what is a method for decreasing, for avoiding these bad motivations? We can say about the death, thinking about death, but maybe that can be a bit hard the first time. But also just thinking about the impermanence of how all these things are not actually stable. They're all changing, and then you lose, and etc. So contemplating a bit impermanence is a good method for you not to be so motivated towards these aspects of life.
Yeah, no so.
Okay.
Maybe we can stop here.
Maybe we can stop here. If anyone has any question online, is Rika satisfied?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we're going to leave. Thank you all for joining. Patricia said thank you.